Good morning, vlog. It has been quite a minute since I did a journal update entry, and I would like to document just some of the recent life events, some of the recent happenings in my life to document the journey. Today is July 28th, 2025. Already over half the year. It's crazy to think about that 2025 has been over half its transpiration occurred, and it's been really last few months, really last few weeks that I've grown in so many areas of my life, and just most transformatively, most noticeably through, I would say, the way that I conduct myself, the way that I treat myself, and the way that I treat others. So I want to document this, a few examples this month. In the month of June and July, Matthew and I have been actually living in our home base, home in San Antonio, Texas. And we've been living with our mom, actually, the last few weeks. We've had the opportunity to take care of my mom since she underwent that put her out of commission for quite some time, for 6 weeks. And that was like give me a second, I need to concentrate on this unprotected right turn in this highway. Divine timing in Jesus' name. All right, made the turn. Yeah, back to what I was saying. Matthew and I have moved to San Antonio, and at the same time, just around this time, our old apartment in Austin was also ending. So it was almost perfect timing where right at the time when we to San Antonio to help our mom, we were kind of in the next chapter in our lives, which is moving out of our old apartment and moving into a new apartment. This new apartment is a 10 by 10 apartment with 6 other entrepreneurs. We still have like 3 vacant rooms, but we have 5 other entrepreneurs, not including Matthew and I, who are living together in a complex in Austin. It's a square feet, almost penthouse, and we'll be living together to network, to grow, and that's going to be an exciting chapter. In August, that's when we're moving in. So just a few months away, or a few weeks away, less than a month. We're be in a new apartment, so that's going to be a super exciting chapter. So in the midst of all this, what I've genuinely derived joy and pleasure from has been taking care of my mom. And I want to document this because it's so powerful, how this type of joy, this type of act of service, of truly serving someone in need, and a loved one in need, it's a feeling like I from no other place, no other sense of like achievement, fulfillment, or success like could fill my heart compared to truly serving my mother. From times when I made her breakfast in the morning, breakfast in bed, when I've helped her take her medicine, when I've helped her to bed, put on her socks, doing such humble and lowly things reminded me of the lowly and humble and servant-minded Jesus when he washed the disciples' feet. One of the lowliest of service that someone would do back in the day was to wash feet when they came into a house. Jesus did that. Just think about it. Jesus, the teacher of his students, did that for them without calling in a servant, doing it for the others, but he himself. And then he called the disciple to wash each other's feet. And I believe I that over the last few weeks through mom, and not only this, but I believe my is being transformed from becoming self-centered and self-righteous to a stance of myself, of being lowly in heart. For example, I am with parking away from the parking lot, or at the gym. I'm okay. I don't get angry when someone else takes parking spot. I started serving my mom whenever we're eating a meal together, food, before I served myself. Before I even took my first bite, I made sure they were taken care of first. When we're at a restaurant or eating out, I make sure before I take the first bite, I let the others eat first. I'm also being generous with I to my local church in Austin. Mom and I actually served on a ministry recently due to some very severe floods that impacted the Texas area. In the last few weeks, Mom and I went on a prayer walk at a downtown high school in San Antonio, and that was the first time my mom to in that way with the church, and that was an amazing experience. And truly just not being so self-centered and self-righteous and to serve myself, to just gratify myself. And truly I think a verse that permeated my heart, I listened to it just last week. Philippians 2 states here that we should not be so covetous and self-conceited and pursue self-righteousness, but instead deny ourselves and put others' interests above our own. That statement, that is so contrarian, not only contrarian to the culture nowadays, but it's so hard when you've been living your life in a culture, in a way, in a mindset of, I need to provide for myself first, and then I'll take care of everyone, or then I'll maybe, the poor. Can you be so lowly in heart where you your needs first? You forget about yourself in the act of providing for others. And that where true transformation starts to manifest. And I've been just these in my life, and the joy that comes from it. Truly, I said it, there's nothing, no other sense of fulfillment or feeling of happiness that comes from this type of service. And I'm still working on it. I'm not perfect, and starting to see the fruits of this, but I believe this is a life-changing mindset shift, paradigm shift about how I see the world. I believe this is to be a truly the transformative experience I've had over the last few months. The other thing that's happened over the last few months and weeks, business-wise and professionally, we are actually going to hit our highest month this month. We it was 55,000. Middle of the month, we had a very good front end. Matt signed almost 19 clients or 18 clients, and I've been very, very honestly, because these are not only just any clients, but they're actually clients and they're guaranteed, because we switched a little bit of our offer. We're guaranteeing appointment in a certain time period. If we don't hit that amount of appointments, we refund them their setup fee. So we're very, very book as soon as possible. However, Matt and I have had recent conversations where at the same time, and we don't want to neglect the accounts that need this performance base, and also our other ad accounts that are older clients. So we are doing some reconfigurations in the back end. We're planning to potentially hire someone to help us testing creatives, a new media buyer. We have to hire a new internal sales agent, because I actually made my fire. I had to fire a team member last week. I documented that on the YouTube channel. So that's just been a crazy experience. And that was all during a period where Matthew and I were literally moving out of our old apartment, which was, oh my gosh, probably the most stressful thing I've had, one of the most this year, because we didn't plan. It was just so many back and forth. We had to rent out U-Hauls. We definitely learned our lesson, where moving out, pre-plan in advance for sure. So all that being said, yeah, it's just to see the business being 2.5 years and doing this, and now we're good months, and even it's been very, very honestly more pressure than it's ever have been because of all these new clients. I've derived a sense of peace and peace, and it only comes from Him. That and to also midst of these challenges, tribulations, and growth and burden of performance, I've learned to lean on the Lord in a way that is productive and is so in a secret place that I pray at. I have a nature on one of my walks that I've to enact the prayer life of Jesus, which really inspires me, by the way. That Jesus always runs to solitude, to prayer. Even when his fame was growing in his ministry, he always retreated to some desolate place in the wilderness to pray. And And I've learned that to be so powerful, because I've met God in so many places over the last few weeks in the midst of those prayer sessions. And I've learned, and this is like another takeaway that I want people to understand, and I want myself to fundamentally internalize. God is faithful. He keeps his promises. He does not go back on his word. And he always meets you where you're at. So God doesn't just randomly appear to you when you feel it feels like it. It's no, God is you wherever you go. And the thoughts that I've had, I can only testify that God meets me exactly where I'm at, and he gives me exactly what I need, and he has a conversation with me. I've had conversations with God just out in the open. I'm saying out loud. If anyone else were looking at me, they think I'm crazy because I'm just speaking to myself. But no, I'm to him. And we just talk. I myself up. I'm honest. We're having authentic conversations. He's actually speaking back and like challenging me on this. And then he's showing me scripture that's like, no, this is actually what I say about this. Give an example. When I fired that team member, which the reason was because of a lack of showing on time, and just due to some set of circumstances, he no longer was a fit for the company. At the same day that he got fired, his brother was sent to the hospital out of commission with off of a cliff. The team member said to me, I don't know how, but he had a chest fracture and he had emergency surgery going on. And the member asked for, like, he begged Elijah, I just sound super stupid, but my brother is going through this. I need an extra $100. Can you please send this to me? I promise I'll pay it back. And we paid him, his, out in July. So that was already sent. He just needed an extra $100. And I contemplated, at first I was like, what? Why would I do this? I wouldn't know what to do. I've asked Mom and Matt, and they're like, yeah, I don't know. And then to take it to God, I decided to pray about it that night, and immediately heard the verse in my heart where Jesus says in Matthew 5, give to those who beg from you, and do not refuse the ones who ask from you. Like, that's a direct commandment Jesus gives. Give the one who begs from you. Of course, not in a foolish way or just giving to those who are lazy or genuinely not in need, but give to those who beg from you. And I believe the member was being genuine, and I was like, this is the heart of Christ. He would give, even when they don't deserve it, even when they've wronged you, even when they sin against you. You should be generous. You should pray for them. You should bless them. And so I decided to not only give him $100, but I gave him $150 with no debt. I'd say, don't worry about paying us back. And that's just a perfect example of me submitting my will to the Lord, not my own will or my own thoughts or thoughts of others, but truly hearing the voice of God and applying that, right? So that's just a big over the last few weeks, resting the Lord through all this growth and burdensome and performance. It's gonna be so key. That's been sometimes my main struggle, is like feeling I have to live up to the expectations of other people. But this is a reminder for myself, but also to anyone watching this. It's truly not living up to the expectations of others, but living up to the expectations of God. Living up to the person that he called you to, the actions that he wants you to do his will, not others, not your own, which is very, very so powerful and assuring and true. And so I'm very grateful to have learned these lessons, to have gone over the last few months in this way. Look forward to events. I'll end off here, might be or might not be going to Italy in a few weeks. Friend Antonio, who lives in the UK, who has family there, he invited me to go, and I might might be flying out there in a few weeks. So I'll document that when I can. It's gonna be an awesome experience, never been. So very excited for the growth house that our entrepreneur, we're moving into in a month. And of course the growth that is is our way for the business from God and taking it one spiritual step at a time. It's Elijah Kim's document over the last few months. So, hope this was helpful. Anyone watching this, God bless you guys. Thank you for sticking around. July 28th, 2025. Kim, 18 years old. Peace.